Hi, and welcome to the Weekly Well. Today, I want to do something a little bit different, and I have my friend Saxon with me here today, and I want to talk about some of the difficult things that you and your wife have walked through over this past year and a bit. And so, what I want to do, Saxon, is just give you the freedom to, in brief, tell a little bit of your story, and then after you've done that, next time I'd like to have you back and go through a little bit of how God spoke to you and worked in you through that difficult time. So I want to turn it over to you and just share this experience that you and your wife walked through.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Just to kind of give you, I guess, a snapshot. So it really started in December of 2022. I have an online business, and it's taken a few years to get to a point where my wife and I could actually leave on a vacation, and we knew that we needed some work that still needed to be done on this business. But I have right now my children, my son will be turning 8 at the end of this month, and I have a 5-year-old daughter. At the time, they were 3 and 5, and so we were quite happy that they were finally at an age where my kids could be in school and my wife and I could work together. So we were very excited for the new year. And so I went on a missions trip to Cuba with an organization called COM in December of 2022. And as soon as we came back, I then picked up the family and we went out to Mexico for 2 months. And because of the fact that we have an online business, we thought that we could actually work out there. We learned that that was too long of a vacation. We had a lot of fun, but we disrupted their rhythm and routine. And so a lot of work didn't get done. I had another organization that I've been blessed to be a part of called Leader Impact, and they're associated with Power to Change. And so I had a missions trip in Panama as soon as we got back. So for almost 4 months, I had no work that was getting done, and that was really eating at me, but God does provide. And so as soon as I got back, I was excited that I could finally get to do some work. And I thought that our family planning was done, and we were taking contraceptive methods to have that happen. And my wife surprised me that God was blessing us with another child. I was excited, but also very nervous because business wasn't where I wanted it to be. And also I wasn't planning for a third one. And so that took a little while to get the around my head, saying that I was going to have another child. And I used to break the news to people saying that we're the 0.3%, and because only 0.3 of people that use this type of contraceptive actually have a child. And so around, I would say, the September mark, this was back in April of 2023, my wife told me that she was expecting, and around September is when we knew for sure that we were going to have him. Everything was healthy, so we named him Caleb. We felt that this was in God's hands, and so why not name him after one of the biblical greats? And so that's what we did. And my wife, when I had my second child, had asked me if I could take some measures in ensuring that we may not have another child. And so I remember going into the clinic after she was born, and something in my heart I just couldn't do it. And so I walked out of there, and my wife didn't think anything of it, and that's how we ended up with the other means of contraceptive. And so this time she said, I'm really done being pregnant, so if you could do something about that, that would be appreciative. And so I prayed about it. I read some good papers. I actually found one by John Piper that was quite surprising to hear, that he wasn't pro or against. He was just, here are some good biblical ways that you can process that. So I felt comfortable, and I went ahead with that procedure. And so I'll fast forward you to December 11th. That was a Monday. And my wife went in for a sweep because my son was at full term, and we were getting him ready to be birthed. And on the same day, I actually went back to confirm that the procedure was successful, that I wouldn't be able to surprise my wife with any more children. And so on the 11th, or that was the Monday, then on the 12th, we were getting ready to have my son, because he was probably going to be here in a week now that they swept him. And we hired a house cleaner, and my wife was kind of just all over the place, making sure that the house, she was nesting. And then I got a phone call while that was happening, and the doctor called and said, "Congratulations, your procedure was successful." So we high-fived each other. The next morning, that brings us to the Wednesday the 13th, my wife was realizing that she hadn't felt any kicks throughout the day. And so she said, "This is very odd. I'm going to go to the hospital." And you don't think anything of it. I mean, we've been talking to Caleb, and my kids had a school play that they were getting ready for the last 4 months. And it was all about anticipating Christmas. And so we would replace the word Christmas with Caleb. And so we were all very excited about this. And so when she called me and let me know that they don't hear a heartbeat anymore, that was quite surprising. And so that day, they had to send us back home because they didn't have enough beds. So we had to go back home with our son in my wife's stomach still. And when we got home, you're still kind of in disbelief. And unfortunately, my son, who is with us, he had the flu. So it was very surreal to be watching your son be very sick while knowing that we're waiting for a bed to be opened so that my wife can deliver our stillborn son. And so we got a phone call the next day on the 14th so that they could induce my wife. And on the 15th, in the early mornings, Caleb Andrew Funk was born. And I'm grateful that we live in a time and an age where doctors allow you to hold your child now. Back in the 50s and 60s, they wouldn't allow you to do that. And you would find a lot of moms that are grieving in a grocery store weighing out melons that were the same size as their child so that they could hold them. I'm grateful that my wife and I were able to hold them. It was a very painful time, but we chose in that moment that we would glorify God as hard as it was and as discombobulating, obviously, as the situation was as well. So 2024 was a very difficult year of processing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing. And I want to let you know this is part one of a two-parter. I want to have you back next time, Saxon, to explore how it is that God walked with you and supported you and comforted you and strengthened you to walk through that process of grieving. So thanks for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And thank you for tuning in. God bless you. We will see you again next week.